Hello, everyone. Welcome back to this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Brody. I am joined alongside my good friend and co-host, Tony Sapita. And happy Friday. It's Friday Fun Day here at Just Another Year Chicago. It's week 5 of the NFL season. And today we are talking about the Chicago Bears as they take on the Las Vegas Raiders, not Oakland, Las Vegas Raiders, this upcoming weekend in Sin City. In Las Vegas, Nevada. We got updates, rankings of each team, 3 keys to the game, our score predictions, and plenty of more. But before we dive into it, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Stupid Card Tray.
If I'm gambling on anything this weekend, I'm doing it from my couch, laptop out, laying flat on my stupid card tray. Great for feeling like you're in Vegas while you're sitting on the couch for the Bears-Raiders game. Use code J16, JAY16 at checkout to get 60% off your entire order. Nick, let's get into it.
And full disclaimer, if you look over my left shoulder right now, the memory foam is about to fall. Do not buy 3M double-sided tape. I just totally lost any opportunity for 3M to partner with us. But don't buy it. It sucks. It doesn't stick to anything memory foam. Command strips, like those command strips you get in college? Like that's what I got, and I've hung it on one. I used only one, and it's hung up the entire time. So don't buy 3M double-sided. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. Happy Friday. All right, now we're getting off the chain. All right, let's get after it. We're off the tape, actually. So anyway, quick news. The Chicago Bears 2-2 are second in the NFC North. They are ahead of the Minnesota Vikings at 1-3, who are 1-3. Sheesh. Kirk Cousins is playing really well, though. I would put him on your fantasy team if possible. And the Lions, who are 0-4 that the Bears played last weekend. Lions are totally in a rebuilding year. It's just not happening, folks. So it's the Bears and Packers really going against this division right now, unless the Vikings do something crazy. Packers lead the division, though, with a 3-1 record. If they lose this weekend, Bears win. That's a little bit of a tie, if you ask me. Bill Lazor is calling the plays this upcoming week again against the Las Vegas Raiders. So it sounds like Bill Lazor has full duty over that. And according to reports, that decision came from up top. That's not the only decision that was made from up top, because the starting quarterback moving forward is Justin Fields. And reports came out today that the McCaskies were involved in the decision of Justin Fields being the starter. So Matt Nagy is no one's biggest fan right now. Like his wife is making him sleep on the couch this week. That's just what's happening. That's just what's happening right now. And then we're going to have a quick injury update before we go into the Bears versus the Raiders. So according to Bears PR, Jesse James has been out with a personal reason, so hope all is okay there. Akeem Hicks has not practiced so far this week. We're hoping that he's limited today. More reports to come out on that, but Akeem Hicks is not practicing. Again, he's battling a knee injury, or a groin injury, so stay tuned for that. JB Holtz has a quad injury, did not practice. Joel Iyiegbuniwe, I have memorized that, and I'm very proud of it. Did not practice either. He has now it's a hamstring injury, was a shoulder injury. Khalil Mack ribs now are injured, and his foot did not practice. This usually happens. Mack usually plays, but he is questionable for this upcoming Sunday's game. David Montgomery knee is out for the next 4 to 5 weeks. Donald Mooney with a groin injury is limited. He was limited the last 2 weeks too. Had an awesome 5-catch, 125-yard game last week, so don't worry about that. But Deion Bush, back in full. Happy to see him back. Tayshaun Gibson Sr. is also back. Andy Dalton is back. Happy to see that, but he is the second-string quarterback. Thank you, Andy Dalton, for being a great mentor to Justin. He actually called Justin Fields the night that he was announced starter. So class act by Andy Dalton. No one go hating on him. If you're going to hate on Andy Dalton, comment on why, but otherwise you have no reason to. Just want to throw that out there. Jesper Horsted is back full. And then Damian Williams. A lot of people were concerned about him in the running back room. Quad injury, full participant in practice, will be playing this upcoming Sunday. Tony, thoughts on the injuries so far? I know that's a long list. I know Akeem Hicks and Khalil Mack are the big concerns of the list, but how are you feeling entering Sunday's game? Do you think most of these guys are going to end up playing, or are they probably going to end up sitting out against the Raiders?
It's definitely worrisome. I imagine they'll play. I feel like we would maybe know a little more if they weren't going to play. Like you said, we've seen this with Mac before. The Hicks one I'm a little more worried about because he's looked a little rough the last couple of weeks. I know we've seen him slow to get up a couple times. Maybe he was just tired because they're on the field sometimes for a while. But thankfully, Eddie Goldman finally is back, because that's a huge deal for the defensive line, especially if Mac or Hicks can't go. He's a disruptor in the middle. I know he had like a weird game last week. He had an offsides, and it was kind of. I thought he played back. Decent. Yeah, I thought he played fine for his first game back. But hopefully he can continue kind of to, like I said, be that disruptor in the middle, which if Mac or Hicks can't go, he can at least help spring Robert Quinn, who is, I guess, our best pass rusher now, which is crazy. I wouldn't have thought that at the start of the year.
But we announced that he was going to be comeback player of the year. Just want to throw that out there. We did call that.
That's fair. I did not. I did not think he would be, but you did, and I will give you all the credit for that.
Team effort.
Yes.
So overall, yeah, I think that, Khalil Mack always seems to have some sort of injury. This guy plays through it and still has monster games. So I think he'll be back. If Hicks has to sit out, though, we have Bilal Nichols, we have Eddie Goldman back, like you kind of were saying. Let him sit out. Let him heal up. It's a rough next 6 games. You have the Raiders, you have the Packers, you have the Niners, you have the Steelers, you have the Ravens, and I'm totally missing one more in there. Sorry. Did not.
I just talked about it the other day. I forgot.
You did just talk about. No. Okay, sorry, folks. We're gonna pull it up really fast. The power of a smartphone. Bears schedule. Look at that. We already got it for you guys. Buccaneers. The GOAT. We're going down to Tampa Bay. So
yeah, I forgot.
So we have the Raiders this week, Packers next week, Bucks the following week, then the Niners, then the Steelers, then the Ravens. Tough 6-game schedule. We were only looking at the 5-game schedule, and then it's like, oh, nope, you got the Ravens right after the Steelers. So that's going to be a lot. Luckily, that game's at home, so hopefully that kind of helps things out a little bit. But overall, crazy. I think that this week, I let Akeem heal up. There's a lot more games coming out there. So Tony, let's go into the offense. Chicago Bears offense versus the Oakland defense. So the Bears offensive ranking is, you guessed it, last. But don't worry, our rushing is ranked 9th. Our passing is last. The Bears are the only team right now to not have more than 1,000 yards on offense. That's going to change. I think they're at like 980 something. So unless they have another Cleveland game against the Raiders, which, knock on wood, wherever you are, hopefully that doesn't happen again. But the Raiders defense, though, their rush is ranked 23rd. So going against the 9th ranked rushing. So we have an advantage there. Their pass is ranked 14th. So, in the middle of the pack, not as easy as the Lions, but middle of the pack. Overall, 19th defense. The Bears, with Bill Lazor calling the plays now, you have to consider that this is going to come into effect. The 9th best rushing game before David Montgomery got injured. You do have Damian Williams coming back this week. You have Khalil Herbert coming, a rookie that has a lot to prove, that was pulled off special teams, where we go and get Jakeem Grant from the Miami Dolphins, because Khalil Herbert's going to get a lot of playing time. And then potentially have Artavius Pierce, who is recalled to the Bears, signed on the practice squad, and then famous man Ryan Null on the practice squad. So, Tony, we're going against the 14th-ranked passing defense, much more of a challenge than Detroit. And Bill Lazor is the play caller. So with Monty out, going against another we're going against a bad rush defense, an okay pass, defense. How excited are you about the offense as a whole, especially the running back room?
Well, I'm actually pretty excited because I love Khalil Herbert. I took him in my dynasty draft, when you draft rookies and stuff. I was all in on this guy. I went to a preseason game against the Bills and Mitch Trubisky.
We were there.
Yep. Oh, yeah, you were there too. Yeah,
we
diced us up.
We got stood up by everybody.
yeah, and plus, we were. I don't remember much after like the third quarter. That was a heck of a day. But what I do remember is Khalil Herbert being an absolute baller. He was awesome. I think he's going to have a breakout game. It's finally his shot to prove himself. I will say it makes it a little tougher for him because Damian Williams is going to be a full participant. He will be in this game. So I don't have an opinion as much on Damian Williams. I think he's fine. I think he's good. I don't know if he could be the lead back for the Chicago Bears. But Khalil Herbert, I'm starting him in all 3 fantasy leagues. Maybe it's also because I have a lot of problems with my running backs in my fantasy leagues, but I also believe in him. This is his shot. We all know he's going to go out there, try to take it, try to prove it. So I'm excited for him the most, I'd say.
And this is Justin Fields' first nationally televised game too. So a lot more pressure on him going against a very tough place to play in Las Vegas. Justin Fields is what I'm looking out for, excited wise, in regards to the offense. I know that's just an easy one, but you do have Bill Lazor for sure calling the calls, and that confidence knowing that he's the quarterback moving forward. Like Justin Fields, didn't go to dinner with his parents to celebrate the news, sat at home and watched film. Like, this guy is ready to go. And the Bears offense is in really good hands. The deep ball is back. The Bears had the most big plays last week in the entire NFL. Yes, it was against the Lions. But overall, Tony, like Justin Fields, like, this is it, baby. This is the next 15 years, potentially. We're going to take the pride back from the pack. We are the NFC North, are we not? Optimism kicking in. I'm not even drinking right now. So we're doing a sober Friday fun day, but Justin Fields has me so pumped up for this game.
Yeah, you mentioned the next 15 years, but I know Justin and myself were just focused on today. We're focused on tomorrow, just like you said in that press conference. But if we're being honest, I'm already kind of just thinking, where am I going to be for his like Hall of Fame, speech when he, what is that, 5 years after he retires? So 25 years from now, who knows? So I'm excited.
When we're on and we're gray and we're about 50 pounds heavier and, probably in Florida or somewhere warm because, we're going to be old. We're going to be sitting there going, oh yeah, look at that. Look at that. Just, we called it 25 years. We're going to save this episode. So we'll save this clip. It's going to be like a time capsule. So Tony's already called that. That's Tony's take on this Friday. Let's go into the Bears defense versus the Raiders offense. So the Raiders offense is the 5th overall offense in the NFL. You can thank that due to their passing being the number 2 passing in the NFL. David Carr is absolutely ripping it up, but they have the 27th ranked rushing offense. They are not good at running the ball. And guess what the Bears are good at? They're good at stopping the ball. The Bears are ranked 12th overall. The only reason why the Bears are ranked 14th in the rush is because of that game against the Browns where, Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb absolutely ripped them up. But before that, the Bears were a top 5 rush defense, and they're only 15th in the league. So they're in the middle of the pack, right behind the Raiders for pass defense. That's shocking to a lot of people because a lot of people were worried about the secondary. But when you have Jalen Johnson, the number 2 ranked corner in the NFL, Tayshaun Gibson-Cedar, Eddie Jackson's, getting back to what he was a couple of years ago, and you have the front 7 absolutely ripping it up. It takes pressure off the secondary. Overall, this Bears defense is doing really awesome. They lead the league right now with 15 sacks. That's even after last night's Seahawks-Rams game. So the Bears are just ripping it up. And, you got guys like Robert Quinn on the field who have 4.5 sacks, Khalil Mack with 4 sacks. Bilal Nichols is getting to the ball, Roquan Smith. They're doing really well. 12th ranked defense against the 17th ranked, the 5th ranked offense. That's pretty crazy. Like that is absolutely insane. It's going to be a really good matchup for the Bears. The Raiders' key strength obviously is Derek Carr. He's just, throwing the ball downfield and everyone's catching it. So that's going to be the really good matchup to look out for. And they have good tight ends on the the Las Vegas offense. I'm already tripping up on myself. It's so hard when the Washington football team, I just got used to saying that. So Bears need to improve in one key area, in my opinion. And again, that's the secondary with their tackling issues. That's the one thing that's going to help. That's going to be rough on this Bears defense is the tackling issues in the secondary, especially against a team that loves to air it out. So Tony, if you had one area to improve everything for the Chicago Bears against the Las Vegas Raiders, what are you going with?
Mine's got to get out the field on 3rd down. Like that's been the biggest thing. Obviously, I know they let some of these drives extend a little long. My apologies. I'm a little sick today, everyone. But yeah, just a little tiny bit, like Jose Abreu. I'll be okay. So the defense, it's a bend don't break. They do, usually hold teams to 3 points on a drive or no points. However, they should be off the field on their side, on the Bears, or no, not the Bears, the other team's half of the 50. Instead it's they pick up that 3rd and 15, and then it's they got to just run through it again. So these guys like Akeem Hicks, who, like we said, is kind of been laboring a bit the past couple of weeks. He's out there a little longer than he needs to be. Khalil Mack is out there a little bit longer than he needs to be. So that's really my biggest thing that I think they need to improve. Just get off the field on 3rd down. I don't know how to do it. I'm not the defensive play caller. It's not my job. That's Sean Desai's job. And the other thing is I still call the Los Angeles Chargers the San Diego Chargers. So I understand where you're coming from.
The pain is there. Like, I guarantee you, everyone that's watching is like, oh, he called it Oakland. But he knows. So, first of all, it's pronunciation, and now it's getting the teams right. Everyone needs to stop moving. The Bears are still going to be called the Chicago Bears, thank God, even if they go to Arlington Heights, just squashing that really fast. So anyway, Tony, let's go into our 3 keys of the game. I want you to kick things off because I think that you have the right mind against John Gruden's team. Yeah,
so my 3 keys, start with number 1, the run game. That's important. Obviously, Monty's out. You got to establish the run early like we did against the Lions. That was with Dave Montgomery, who could just bowl through defenders, get that yards after contact. But that's why you gotta start early, because if you really struggle or you just don't run the ball in the first quarter, maybe the second quarter, it's hard to pick it up in the third quarter when they're already keying on Justin Fields and trying to force you to run. And then, so basically you got to establish the run. That's how you open things up for Justin. Especially downfield. Nick, I know you're going to touch on that in your 3rd key, so I'll let you do that.
Stealing my thunder.
Just mention it's called a teaser for the people, of course.
Yeah.
My 2nd key is I'm going to do this every week until they do it. Use a tight end. Use a tight end one time. Why did we pay Jimmy Graham not to play? Why did we draft Cole Kmet? It makes no sense. I think they are good. I think they are great assets. I think we should use them. But if we're not going to use them, that feels like a mistake on Ryan Pace. That feels like something that, we may need to address going forward. Could be a nail in his coffin if they don't end up, maybe making the playoffs this year or something happens with Justin Fields.
Hey, we're making the playoffs this year.
Of course we are. But if we don't, I'm blaming the lack of tight end usage. All right. So final key to the game for me, protecting Justin Fields. It's an easy one. The Bears actually did a really good job of this last week. The offensive line has to perform well again. Bill Lazor did a great job keeping extra blockers in, which they did not do against the Browns. We saw that. They were doing a lot of 5-man protections against like a 7-man front coming at them. That's why it was just an absolute, train wreck. But they also had tight ends and running backs chipping as they went out for routes, which is a great way to obviously that you help out your offensive line. But the linebackers in the secondary, when they're trying to read what you're doing, they see, oh, he might be staying in the block. I'm going to kind of commit this way. Boom, you just kind of flash out to the side. It's a great little outlet for Justin Fields if he doesn't go downfield for the most amazing throw you've ever seen in Darnell Mooney or Allen Robinson. So Justin's elite. Give him time. He'll make a play.
Yeah, and I'm going to kind of flip the script. I'm going to go to the defensive side of the ball for my 3. Make Derek Carr's life hell. Go after the ball. We need Khalil Mack out there and Robert Quinn because obviously they're doing really well together. They're averaging, technically, if you put both of them together, over a sack a game. They need to continue to do what they do, especially against this Oakland team that loves to air out the ball and are struggling secondary. John Gruden's going to read that every day of the week and twice on Sunday. No pun intended. Man-to-man coverage. Don't let Oakland get open. Don't let it get easy. We have fast defenders. Our defense is doing pretty well. Our secondary is doing well overall, considering where expectations were. Kenny Games said it himself. Expectations were super low, but they're doing pretty well. Same kind of like the offensive line, like expectations were super low, and they're shockingly doing above average right now. Not great, but they cannot run the ball well. So they're going to be going to throwing the ball as much as they can. And they know the Bears are a good rush defense. So they're going to be airing it out. So look out for that. And I think man-to-man coverage is the best. Obviously, you have to play zone every now and then, or else you could get seriously burnt really bad. And then, the deep ball was working last week. I know you kind of were hitting on it, Tony. The deep ball was working last week. Do it again, no matter who is under center. So, if you decide to throw Andy Dalton out there for a couple plays, let Dalton also air it out, make them think. But Justin Fields has a sick deep throw. It's accurate, spirals on the money. Next 15 years of success is going through that. Very excited for it. You have speed everywhere too. Chuck that sucker up in the air and let someone catch it. And that's on the Bears, obviously. So let's go into our final topic, score predictions. I'm just going to kind of kick it off. If the Bears have the same game plan they had last week, play the same type of game. Justin Fields is not needing to throw 400 yards. As long as you're scoring and preventing the offense from scoring, I think that they get the dub this week. I know Las Vegas is a very hard place to play, but 27-20 Bears. I got them over the next 6 games. You got to win. You got to win half of them. I don't care if they're 500, entering week. I don't care if they're 5-5. I really don't. I think if the Bears are 5-5, I will be super impressed because they do have the 3rd hardest schedule in the NFL. They need to win this game against Oakland. I think it's very possible the Rams the Chargers kind of exposed them a little bit. The Raiders, we had Talking the Line on last episode, and they kind of said themselves, John Gruden loves to start out hot, loves to get the expectations high, and then they kind of fall off. I think the Bears got this 27-20. I think it's going to be a good game, but I think the Bears are going to win at the end of the day.
Yeah. You said Oakland again. Just want to throw that out there.
Dang it.
Another
Las
$20.
Vegas.
Just Venmo me. It's okay. So my prediction here, Bears win 31-13. If it was in Oakland, then I think it's different. I think honestly the Raiders probably win. However, this is in Las Vegas. Allegiant Stadium is going to be just Soldier Field too. They might as well, instead of moving to Arlington Heights, move to Las Vegas because everyone and their mother is going out there. I think 30% of the tickets at one point were being bought by Illinois zip codes. So the Bears faithful is traveling. They're going to be there. They're going to bet all their money on the Bears too. You think Nagy's not going to try to cover for the Bears? They absolutely will. Also, the Bears D is just going to make Derek Carr curl up into a little ball and cry again, just like the Chargers did last week. So Justin Fields is going to go nuclear after another full week of practice. Bears win big. Bear down, baby.
You know what, Tony? I hope that they score more points than the Sox did All I got to say about that.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we're recording
I was
right
waiting
before
for that shot, and I got it.
we're recording right before the game 2. What is it at noon or not noon? 1:07 p.m. I keep saying noon. Hopefully they win, but I'd trade a Bears win this weekend for a Sox win this week or today,
Wow.
because
Well, yeah,
they're gonna win in 5. They'll win in 5. It's fine.
yeah,
They won't lose in
Tony-
Chicago. Yeah, they won't lose in Chicago, so it's okay.
All right. Well, Tony's got the confidence. I'll take that too. I'll take a Bears win. Absolutely. I'll go 3-2 after the weekend. Packers lose this weekend. Bears are tied for first in the division. We love it. But Tony, as always, thank you very much for jumping on, and thank you guys for joining this episode of Just Another Year Chicago Bears versus Las Vegas Raiders review. Very exciting. We will be back with Kinney Games this upcoming Sunday night with review of the game. So stay tuned for that. But with that, thank you very much for joining this Friday fun day at Just Another Year Chicago, and we will see you guys on Sunday.